just because you are known somewhere. Siya Kolisi starts a podcast and assumes it's just going to blow up. Trevor Noah, I'd like to think, based on his star reach, I don't think his podcast is doing well. He had to sit down with Kevin Hart. I think it did over 170,000 views, which for us is huge. But for his level and Kevin Hart's level, it was surprising. So I think some of us in podcasting need to understand, if we're trying to understand that this platform is not what people think it is, and then try and figure out what it actually is and where it's going. You want to say something?
Oh, I couldn't agree. All of those things I very much agree. The one thing I was just going to say, I don't know about I think the Trevor Noah show actually did well, but it wasn't a YouTube show. It was part of Spotify's campaign to start launching their internal video thing that never worked.
Okay.
And it got big numbers in the audio space. It was really driven for that. But I agree with you. It could have done a lot better. And you're 100% right. And I think it's such a different animal. And like we said it earlier, like it's signing a famous person starting a pod. It actually fails more often than not. And the reason is, if you are a radio legend, like some of the ones you've mentioned, every day you go onto a mic and you speak to 1 million people, and you've got 1 million plus followers on your Instagram and your social media pages. That's your audience. Yeah. And you also have the kind of respect of brands who are used to you having this kind of influence. Yeah. And so where I think a lot of damage has happened with some of the people that you mentioned in the industry is that they moved into the digital space, and they also managed to get brands to come in with them to sort of invest in it. But those numbers, when you start in this space, you're starting from scratch, right? Like 10 is a number. 20 listeners is a real number. And there's a podcast, there's a podcast that I'm working with, a branded podcast, that a year later, they're sort of at 200 listens on the audio front, So it's really, really hard. And I think the problem is a lot of the well-known established people that get into the podcasting space, their assumptions are too high. That's why they fail. And then after 2 months or 3 months, they can't handle the fact that they're at 1,000 listeners. So they're getting all the social media fluff. Yeah. And their first episode probably got 50,000, 60,000, 80,000 because everyone was excited. Sure. But by the 15th episode, they've gone down to the hundreds, and that's very hard to take if you're used to this.
100%.
And so then they either quit or fluff, try and see what to go there. So I think it's a huge problem.